It's fine.
Welcome to podcast extras.
Do it now when you won't get interrupted.
No, it's fine. We don't have an intro for extras because it's the extras. Yay!
So Simmons,
yeah, what's up?
Something weird with only your audio. For some reason, when other people talk over you, your audio just quiets down on its own. I'm not sure if it's something on your computer or what.
Oh, it's you know what it is? It's because I'm using I'm not using my headphones right now, so Discord's codec is auto canceling.
So it's really I'm sure that makes Jack's job hard, or it just sounds like crap of the podcast, but it's very annoying. You get talked over and you get quiet all of a sudden.
Well, you know what? Admittedly, like this episode, I didn't have a whole lot to contribute. So,
yeah.
So, I mean, most of what I was trying to say got immediately shut down. And that's a good thing because, quite frankly, my input on a lot of the latest hardware advancements, I'm really out of the loop with. So I really enjoy the commentary that Chris especially gives when he gets angry.
What am I doing? What did I give commentary on?
No. Apparently, my audio has been crap because I'm not using my headphones tonight.
Yeah, just change this setting that I just posted there. Just do that.
Yeah, too bad. Oh wait, are we recording the extras already?
Yeah.
I mean, Craig's in here. It's fine.
I'm back. I got milk and pizza Pringles.
Okay, okay. I don't. You know what? I have a lot of really bizarre hardware, or not hardware, but food tastes, and that. No.
It's not that they're good. It's that I like the combination, and I'm depressed.
That's fair. I mean, Mary gets excessively angry at me because whenever I eat something sweet, I chase it with a pickle because I
Stop chasing pickles.
What is wrong with you?
No. Because for whatever reason, my sense of taste is really just excessively sensitive to sweet, and the flavors will just linger forever. So I just neutralize it with something sour, and usually that's pickles. So
that's so weird.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
I mean, have you seen my face?
I mean, yeah, but what else is wrong with you?
We're not going to go into that on this recording. Okay, so real quick, since Chris is shoving food in his face hole, I want to complain about the Corsair K100.
Wait, which one was this? Right, the expensive keyboard.
Yeah, so I am going to be very vocal about this one because I've been using Corsair keyboards since the Corsair K70, specifically the K70, which was the one before, it was the pre RGB keyboards. So you had the silver faced blue LED variant, you had the black anodized red LED variant.
Back in my day, one color was enough. We don't need three colors. Yeah. What the heck?
So, and one of the biggest issues with that specific keyboard was there was a really bad ESD problem where it would kill the LEDs. And my keyboard absolutely experienced that, where my K70 still works fine because it's still a mechanical keyboard and it doesn't require any drivers because it's just basic USB drivers. But 10 of the LEDs are dead on the keyboard. Okay, whatever. And then they started coming out with that was around the time when Cherry released their clear housing keycaps, or not keycaps, key switches, which were intended for the RGB LED that we now know and hate on all of our modern keyboards. Corsair K70 I think I purchased it for $120. Then the K90 I bought it was like $160. And now my current one, I think I paid the market price at $199 for the K95.
Are you serious? You spent $200 on a keyboard?
Yeah, I'm a degenerate. So yeah.
Super poor is what you are.
Yeah,
correct.
Poor.
Well, also, I did kill all of the LEDs on that keyboard when I spilled half a glass of wine on it. So
don't do that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so this new K100, first of all, I got really angry with the K95 Platinum because one of the really nice features about the K95 or the K90 or whatever it was it had 18 macro keys, which I very much used for various themes and profiles.
Those are definitely nice once you get used to them.
Exactly. So actually, the game of choice that I really utilized all of those macro keys was Tribes Ascend, where I would set keybinds to do the quick in-game chats like Shazbot. Just at a press of a button. It was fantastic. And then the K95 Platinum came out, and they realized that most people who were purchasing these things through their Corsair Software Analytics were only using like 3 macros at a time. So
bastards.
they then restricted it down to 6 macro keys on the left side. They still have the volume knob, wheel, which I really, really like. And
I bet you like the knob.
well, it's not a knob. It's like a barrel wheel thing.
Yeah, I bet you like the barrel wheel.
So yeah. So now we have the newest revision of the Corsair RGB keyboard series, which is the K100, and this piece of crap is going to cost $230 from the get-go. It has some weird gamer knob button right at the very top.
Some weird gamer knob.
See, I don't even understand what this thing is. It kind of looks like it just looks like a horizontal wheel, not to be confused with the volume barrel that they still have.
It's a gamer knob. When you turn it, it's racist.
But then the other interesting feature where I got a little bit of flack when I initially brought this up when we were discussing the topics was it looks like the wrist rest is this very large, permanently attached wrist rest. Yeah, sure, you get the idea. I don't know if they confirm whether or not it will be detachable, but there's actually some like indicator LEDs on it, and it looks like there's a headphone jack below it, but I'm not seeing any confirmation that that's actually what that is.
Okay, what kind of USB cable is it using? Because
it's USB 3.0.
Oh, okay, so is there a chance that it has like a proper DAC in it? Because I feel like they would have talked about it in the press release if it did.
So here's the thing: is like I thought that was a headphone jack, but I'm not actually seeing. Like I feel like that would be like one of the highlights for this.
Yeah,
thing. I'm wondering if it's just indicator LEDs on the wrist rest, but there's also like a volume or like a headphone.
Wait, are you talking about like the thing at the bottom there in the middle of the wrist rest?
Yeah.
I think that's just an LED, dude.
Yeah. So why is there like what's the point? That's my question. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I don't know, gamers.
I guess. Wait, no. That is where their looks like their numlock indicator is.
Ew.
Because the numlock, the caps lock, and the scroll lock indicators on my 95 Platinum is right above print screen, which that's a good location. I don't have any issues with that.
Yeah, that's not on this. So actually, Simmons, you're a dummy. You're the big dumb.
Is
right in the article, it specifically calls out that wrist rest is magnetic detachable.
Okay, well that's good to know. But
that looks like it might be just indicators for that stuff, because I don't see any mention of the headphone part.
Yeah,
but I also hate, like, I love volume dials, but I hate when they're on the right side of the keyboard, because most people, if you want quick access to a volume dial,
you don't
while you're gaming.
The mouse.
Exactly. You want it on your other side. And I mean, I'm sorry for lefties, but unless you make a keyboard with 2 volume wheels on it, put it on the left side. Or,
so
like I missed my Alienware laptop. So my old Area 51 M5 or 5550 R3, I think it was a Core 2, like 2.3 gigahertz or something. But it had a volume dial on the right side and the headphone jack was on the left side as well. And it was amazing. Like it was this built-in volume dial on the side of the laptop. It was just a great feature to quickly just go up and down when either people started screaming while playing WoW, Star Siege, Crisis Wars, whatever.
So for me personally, that's not an issue, but I guess that's just dependent on my really shit game style, which is I will take my right hand off the mouse to hit my numpad to perform certain actions. So that's really not an issue for me per se. I like the volume knob on the right side. I have no idea what that wheel above the F1 key is. That doesn't make any sense.
I don't see any controls anywhere else on this though for the LEDs though. And I just see one little profile. I'm not sure the profile button beside the wheel. Is that a wheel to select your profile?
I mean, it looks like that IQ button in the middle, or it looks like the IQ light in the middle is a button. So I would assume that would be your brightness control or your profile select. No. The button to the left is your profile select.
I wonder if that could also, because it does talk a lot about the IQ software, if this brings up some sort of on-screen display, and that's kind of your selector knob to select through stuff, like quickly change your profiles or something like that. I'm assuming that lock button beside it is to lock the profile you're on, or to turn on game mode or something to lock the Windows button.
Yeah, that is a customizable lock button. So you can have it set to lock your Windows button, your scroll,
further down. The Corsair K100 RGB also featured the all-new multifunction IQ control wheel, offering convenient command over backlighting, media jogging, or additional scroll function in creative applications and games. You could use that to adjust hue and stuff, or timeline scrubbing, or any of that stuff, potentially.
That's practical.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Taryn's going to be super happy about this. Taryn might buy like 3 of these keyboards.
Well, no, because he still has a dedicated macro keyboard, so...
I mean, honestly, why not?
I do find that they went down to only 6 macro keys, though. That's
I
not
cannot stand that.
enough.
If nobody's really using them, then that's understandable, but also it sucks.
But the people buying keyboards with macro keys are buying keyboards with macro keys.
And actually, that's the other thing is like one of the things that Taryn especially has complained about, and for anybody who's actually listening to this, Taryn, aka Linus Tech Tips Taryn, he is known as the macro slut, I guess you could say.
He's a slut. Yeah.
He gets really pissed off at Corsair's IQ software because it has total functionality to detect different keyboards, but you cannot set up different profiles per keyboard.
That's horrible.
You change a profile and it changes it universally across all Corsair hardware that you have attached to your system.
Oh, so like if you plug in 2 keyboards, you don't get double the macro keys. You just get duplicate macro. Oh, that's dumb.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is the software does independently detect the keyboard. So there's no excuse for them not to have it.
Thinking about the Tom Scott's emoji keyboard, which is, USB devices will just enumerate them. And God, I can't remember what software he was using, but like apparently he was describing apparently that's just a thing a lot of flight sim guys will do if they don't want to drop thousands of dollars on a proper setup. They'll just get a bunch of keyboards and write some, I think, Lua script.
Yeah. I think it's
AutoHotkey does it too. Yeah,
because that's what Taryn uses.
Yeah. Or you can use XPad, and I've seen people do grab a bunch of old 360 wired controllers and strip those apart, and then because those all get enumerated, and then you can have all those individual keys mapped to physical buttons on a physical flight sim console or racing sim console. Or you're gonna laugh at this, but I've seen them used in actual control rooms in industrial settings like mines, power plants, where they were really cheap. They just wanted a quick solution. And that was what they came up with was we need a bunch of physical buttons just to emulate stuff to a Windows box. Let's just use a couple controllers and solder some wires and buttons to them.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find this specific YouTuber I watch. He does a lot of really in-depth reviews of classic keyboards and classic mechanical switches.
Pyro Sam or whatever.
Pyro Sam 22, I think is his name. I'm blanking on the spelling, but he did a review a couple years ago on this. I think this keyboard from the 90s or the early 2000s, where every single key was a customizable LCD.
Oh yeah, I know that one. You saw that one.
He complained because it was one of the worst feeling key switches that he's ever used in his life, but one of the interesting aspects of it was the fact that each LCD was customizable on it, kind of similar to how the Stream Deck from Elgato.
Yeah.
Yep, that's the keyboard, the Optimus Maximus. And this keyboard was really interesting because it had the software that you could do the custom LCDs on each switch, albeit a very dim representation. So I feel like something like this would have been great for Taryn, where he's doing customizable macros, but at the same time, the keyboard did not have individually addressable selections for the different switches within the software. So all the software was good for was changing the LCD layout. So you would still have to go through an AutoHotkey workaround to be able to
And
fully
actually assign everything.
Yeah, which is just miserable, especially.
So, do you think you could make it play video on all of those little screens?
I think
they're a really slow refresh rate on those ones.
Oh, that's too bad.
you could still probably play Doom on it.
Ooh, you know what would be neat now that I'm thinking about it? Instead of having like a light up screen, just have a bunch of little e-ink displays.
I was going to say e-ink would work great for that if you don't need the high refresh rate.
It's just a symbol. Like it's a monochrome symbol. Like I've got lots of those on my keyboard.
See,
the thing about e-ink is even the 3-color e-inks now are cheap enough that like these are just tags in stores. Like I've seen them around in the wild. Like,
Oh yeah.
Can you have transparent e-ink displays so you still have an RGB light behind it?
yeah, I think
I believe so.
yeah, I think there was actually something I saw at a Computex one year where one of the gimmicks they were doing was basically an LCD panel, like side panel, and it was just a LCD transparent.
Yeah, but that was just LCD though. That's very
not
different
e-ink.
than e-ink.
Oh, right.
Because the LCD panel, every LCD panel you have in laptop or anything has that same technology in it. Just it adds a backlight and all that stuff behind it. This literally just strips everything away from the panel except the actual crystal display.
From e-ink-reader.ru, apparently that's the thing.
Oh, nice.
Oh, hang on.
But still, the issue that I still come down to is what they had with the Optimus Maximus, which was you still are going to have a custom solution to power the switch or not even the switches, but the keycaps. And how would you have a decently tactile or just mechanical switch and still have power going to the keycaps and have the thing be serviceable? Because that's the big trade-off. Is it's not a serviceable platform.
Yeah, I mean, you'd need to have 3 additional pins going into the keycap. You would need 1 for data, 1 for power, 1 for ground.
Yeah, so you're building a custom keycap.
Now, with
switch.
that said, I think ground could be accomplished if you had like a Cherry-esque switch where there were just like, you know what? You could actually do like plates in the or like wires and the stem.
Yeah, you could do a ribbon cable, or you could do pogo pins internally in the stem.
Yeah, I'm just. There's
This
ways
wouldn't
to do
be like
it,
a
but
high. It would be like a low travel switch.
Yeah, the
You wouldn't use
biggest-
these for a high-end keyboard for high travel
The
or high
biggest
usage.
issue is that these are going to have to be rated for like repeated motion and that kind of wear and tear because the pins.
You'd be looking at like hundreds of thousands of motions, not millions.
Yeah, very
Right.
disappointing. I mean, yeah, it could be done. It's a novel idea, and I like the idea, but it's not a good idea.
Yeah, but I'm really glad that you brought up Terran because please, Corsair, for the love of God, if you can detect different keyboards, please let us do individual profiles per piece of hardware. This is so stupid. Because I've got a buddy who actively uses the Razer Naga. He likes the 12 buttons on the side, and he gets really frustrated because he also uses a Corsair keyboard. And when he changes his profile on the Naga for, say, an MMO that he's playing or a MOBA that he's playing, which, yeah, both of those games are not game platforms are awful, but it changes he basically has to have a dedicated profile for the keyboard as well as the mouse. So the keyboard's profile is identical between the 2 different profiles, if that makes sense. So when he's switching between the 2 profiles on the mouse, he doesn't have any weird overlap on his keyboard. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Why, he's using the same macros on both, or
No. So basically, he duplicates the configuration for the keyboard, and then he has a different set of macros on the mouse.
okay?
So basically, you have a dedicated profile for your keyboard, and then you duplicate that dedicated profile for your keyboard just so you can switch your profile on your mouse.
That's annoying.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like that'd be that complicated to work around, but then again, I don't know what kind of driver or software overhead would be required to make that work. So
If they already have them like ID'd, then yeah, they can do that, and it shouldn't be that hard.
correct.
I
found the
realize
hard
that
way.
this is armchair software engineering, but shut up.
I found out the hard way that when I wanted on my G903 mouse, it's got 2 buttons on each side, but they're all separate. Like now the left side mapped is back forward. The right side mapped for 2 other functions, like, push to talk. Originally, I set them for F23 and F24, figuring those are keys that would never get used, but I could still map them in any software without having to use auto hotkey or something.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it turns out that Ubuntu still uses F24 to enable and disable mouse input of the cursor. Because that's what they use for the touchpad enable button for laptops.
That's amazing.
So I had to switch to F23 as the upper button to use for push to talk. That's an interesting thing. None of the other F13 to F23, not used for anything. But F24, yep, that's touchpad disable.
Now, I am going to assume that you didn't oopsie whoopsie the side button on the mouse as well.
No, he did, it sounds like. And then he would have to go in through keyboard input solely to re-enable it.
The button still worked. It disabled literally the touchpad, but because that was my primary mouse, the cursor wouldn't work. Click still worked.
Oh.
Just not the cursor movement.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. It was like, that's a thing in Ubuntu.
That sounds like a really great way to mess with your fellow Linux users.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's really amazing.
Yeah, fellow Linux users.
And is it documented anywhere? Nope. You search F24? No, not documented. But what I hate is that there's not more buttons like that you can use for macro keys to then map to functions. You have to rely on the software for each device having its own built-in hotkey software, basically, which God help you if your antivirus picks that up and blocks it.
Oh, no, actually, that's actually a really great idea. Just a keyboard with 12 macro keys, quote unquote, except they're just F12 through F24. And they have software that can apply functions on those keys, like macro functions.
Yeah.
But number one, that lets you use it generically with some old IBM keyboard if you can dig it out of storage. But number two, that means that it's completely software agnostic, and you can just hook them up to commands in a game or something.
Yeah.
It just works.
Actually, Chris, I think you can still pick up one of those Unicom keyboards that does have the F13 through 24 keys.
Yeah, probably. What I would probably end up doing, though, is if I were looking for macro keys, I really need to look into flashing actual USB hid device ID type stuff onto an Arduino. Hey, Simmons, I need to make you your hex numpad.
Yeah.
It's only a year overdue. But yeah, something like an Arduino with just an array of buttons hooked up in this little fake dedicated keyboard thing. Which would ideally be much less than the $100 that Corsair wants for some of their Elgato crap. And, mechanical switches too, which is very exciting.
Mechanical switches are dumb.
Actually, speaking of that was a funny thing that just got posted, actually. Well, maybe not posted recently, but it came up. But someone used a Arduino to connect a PS2 mouse to a USB-only computer.
Nice.
Because they loved how
PC.
the old... Yeah.
So here's the thing with desktop PCs. They have Super I/O chips, and Super I/O chips contain lots of fun buses. I managed to contact the company that makes the chip on my motherboard. And once I decommission the system, once I get my my new Ryzen box, I am going to take a look at soldering some wires to some pins and seeing if I can expose a PS2 port, because I think it should work. I think it should just work. I don't see why it would be disabled. It's just...
It should work. I think pretty sure most BIOS has still options for it because it still can emulate it.
Yeah. But
so they need to have access for it.
There is already a chip that handles this. I just need to expose wires as far as I am aware. So that's
project
that's something to do. Yeah, that's something to put on the back burner and never return to, just like all my projects.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's something I can do a write up for that. I also need to I need to pull out the FM2 Plus motherboard as well and dick around with that with the funny HDMI port.
That would be a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
that would be lots
See.
of fun to see.
Yeah,
I'm not a
because
fan of that HDMI port because when I blindly plug in cables, I usually plug in the HDMI cable to the wrong port. It doesn't work.
no. Because Chris, honestly, I'm looking forward to seeing what comes out of this motherboard write-up that you're going to do, because I feel like that would be like the most excessive capture card setup, and I absolutely want to hang one of those on the wall to use explicitly as a capture card.
Wait, you're hanging it on the wall and using it as a capture card?
Yeah, I'll hang a power supply on the wall as well.
Yeah, why not? Just use a Pico PSU. They're easier to wire.
Yeah, exactly.
Cut holes in the wall, but don't tell your landlord.
So,
Or just damage the place, so they're definitely keeping your deposit anyway, and you're getting your money's worth out of it.
Go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, Chris, if you ever want to work on that computer and that feels so alone working on a computer, just, with no one else working on one, I'll pull out my Phenom 2 X4 980 and try to put that together at the same time you're doing yours, and we can.
I'll do my 8150 plus Sabertooth board. I'll try to get that working again.
Ooh, we could all have a group build session in Discord with video chats. That would be fun.
I'll take out a razor blade and try to unbend some pins.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something else.
Take out a razor blade, cut some lines. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say.
Speaking of lines,
Oh, gosh, what do you got?
Oh,
4 lines make a credit card.
Gamer credit card.
Segue.
So the only thing I'm not okay. We're talking about the Razer credit card, which is okay. So it's basically the shtick is it is a like an Apple style credit card where it's going to be using something called Razer Pay to configure all your accounts.
It's like Apple Pay, right?
It's exactly like Apple Pay credit card.
Nice.
But the difference is this has a green LED for the Razer logo on it.
How long does the LED last?
So that's what I'm trying to figure out, because
it lasts too long.
I can't tell if this is going to be a battery powered thing, or if it's going to be something that when you plug it into the chip reader, it lights up.
Oh, dude, that'd be awful.
It should just always be on.
Here's the deal. Here's the deal with this. So the thing is, they're going for this minimalist black credit card. It is a matte black.
No number.
There's no number. There's no printing or anything. There's I think Razer embossed. No, there's the name, I think, embossed in the corner. And there is, of course, an exposed chip because you kind of need to do that. But what makes this stand out, and instead of making it look classy, makes it look cheap as shit, is the massive glowing Razer logo in the corner.
Yep.
Now, Razer is kind of a niche company. They sell PC peripherals. It's not really a household name. But for people who do know it, if they see this, they're not going to think that you're classy.
You're
there's no real. Who are you trying to impress? Because it is designed as if it is trying to impress somebody, but nobody's going to be impressed by this. It's just, most of you will have to wait, as it is only being offered to 1,337 people in Singapore.
That's
that's the gamer number.
Well, damn, now I can't use that as my PIN number.
The funniest thing about this is that I know America is a little bit behind on this whole payment system, but in Canada, we pretty much completely switched to contactless for everything.
Mm-hmm.
The only time I put my chip card in is if the purchase is too big for tap.
Look, dude, we just got chip readers. Give us a break.
Which is weird. I know. I don't know how you guys are so behind on this.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I'm assuming this thing doesn't have a stripe. And they're going to use that part of the chip to come up with some sort of flat battery capacitor tech that's going to be quick charged by the chip. And I don't know, maybe when you take it out and you apply pressure to it, it lights up or something. But
oh my god, dude, what if this thing ends up?
Or it's glow in the dark. Maybe it's not an LED. Maybe it's just glow in the dark.
Oh, that's even worse.
It is an LED. They did confirm LED.
Doesn't mean it has to be powered. They could put an LED in and not power it.
You shut up and let me finish my funny thought.
No.
So what if it is indeed using a capacitor, and every time you plug it into the chip reader slot, the inrush current just fries whatever it's plugged into, whatever point of sale you put it in.
The rubber ducky credit card.
Yeah, honestly, like I could see them forgetting to make sure that it like doesn't kill things that it's plugged into. Just like, oops, forgot to test that.
Could it be like a self-powered watch thing that uses motion?
Yeah, enough volume to be able to handle that with how thin it's going to be.
Or maybe they just didn't tell anyone, but it actually needs to be synced to an Android smartphone with a Razer app to handle the payment part. And it actually charges through the NFC portion or the wireless charging.
So it's a cheap chargeable credit card.
Oh,
Could
I
be.
hate that.
Or NFC.
I hate that so much. I gotta
NFC would provide enough power for that.
I gotta recharge my credit card.
No, you don't have to recharge it. It actually uses any wireless wave in the air, and it just grabs it and charges it.
Hell yeah! Violating entropy, I love it.
Yeah.
So Japan does.
Yeah, we don't.
Japan does use a lot of NFC stickers on their products for like the pick up and go stores that don't have cash attendance or anything, because NFC can provide enough power to arguably make an LED glow, maybe not as bright as they're making it look. So if you're using this for contactless payment, that would work. And maybe the chip's only there for the initial plug-in to set your PIN, your initial configuration.
No.
Program the card.
Guys, I have an even worse conspiracy theory.
Did I hear whiskey?
You might have.
I heard a jingle call.
Yeah, you heard a dog jump off a bed and onto the floor and make a thump.
No. I have an even worse conspiracy theory. So you know how all of the conspiracy boomers were freaking out about 5G? Maybe it's going to use the energy in 5G to charge the credit cards.
So you basically can't use it anywhere except the outdoor hot dog vendor who doesn't have an umbrella.
Yes.
Yeah. It's already earmarked for powering COVID. Don't be ridiculous.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing that concerns me about this is Razer Pay. Like that's the only thing I'm not.
Yeah. No. Like as far as I can tell, and this is also based on the fact that like every friggin' retailer in America has their own credit card at this point. You can just like call up an actual bank or credit company and be like, "Hello, can we get a card with our logo on it?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure. Here you go. What kind of APR do you want to charge? 29.99%. It's cool. Sold."
I just look forward to going to Singapore never and seeing somebody using this credit card.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, Chris, we know somebody from Singapore. We need to ask him about this.
Oh, Chow?
Chow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our little chaos demon from the other server.
Oh my god! So I just clicked the link in the PC Gamer article. There's a link to like Razer explaining how Razer Pay works. uBlock Origin has prevented the following page from opening. go.trafficcounter.io/res equals whatever. That's a lot of text. That's like easily 1,000 characters of tracking information.
Oh, yeah, it breaks for two.
I don't know.
My pie hole breaks the link. I can't open it either.
I don't know if the article's author accidentally left in their own personalized tracker link, or if PC Gamer added that in.
I would think it was probably PC Gamer.
Yeah. It's great. Again, like I said a couple hours ago, everything needs to be tracked. Everything needs to be monetized. We can't just have nice things anymore.
Oh, here we go. I managed to get to the article.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for your service. Oh, cats kissing Moxie. I love Moxie.
It's just a crap ton of text, and just a lot more than I want to
read all of this. This is like
1% cash back, up to 5% on Razer Store and gold purchases. No minimum spend and no cap limit for cash back.
Whoa.
But looks like it might be a prepaid one. Oh, Razer Store and Razer Gold. Yeah, there's been a Razer Store for a while.
Gold? Razer Store. Okay, that's fine. What is Razer Gold?
It's basically, I forget exactly. You can get it for a while. It was enabled in some games. You could earn it, but like it was one of those things where you had to have like hundreds of hours of investment to get actual something out of it. It was like the whole Call of Duty thing originally.
Oh, I don't want it.
So real quick, I really hate this headline on the Razer Press site. To transform digital payments and experience for youths and millennials in Singapore.
Oh, hey,
So literally targeting.
remember when Razer made their own cryptocurrency and all you could use it for was like redeeming it for Razer products? Except
Isn't that
like,
what Razer Gold is?
That's what turned into Razer Gold.
oh, okay.
Because,
But yeah,
because the crypto side of it failed, but they still
of
had all
course
that
the crypto
investment.
side of it failed. It was stupid. It expired at basically. I did the math on it when they were like claiming how much you could make with certain graphics cards. It's like, okay, if you're running like a 1080 Ti or something 24/7, you aren't even going to make enough of this before it expires in order to get like a mouse. Like you have to run entire mining rigs to get a free $50 peripheral. Just go be a normal person. Mine Litecoin, mine Ether, mine Monero, something. Like, God.
Razer Pay will give you up to 10% cash back on Razer Store and Razer Gold purchases.
Oh my gosh. So for Razer Store and Razer Store purchases, got it.
I mean, if you like Razer gear and you buy a lot of it, like let's say you run MMOs, you have a bunch of friends, and you buy a bunch of gifts. I mean, it might actually be worth it.
Just get 5%
as long as you pay it off.
Regular things, like God.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you go to any credit union here in the States, and you can get a credit card that gives you 5% cash back on like Amazon. So
yeah, it's just another random. And it's Visa based. Yeah, it's Visa based. Which I mean, for the US isn't Visa not that supported in a lot of places in the US?
No.
The only card you can use at Costco. I learned that the hard way when I went to Costco.
Well, it used to, because Costco used to be who was it? It was American Express, and then they changed it over to Visa at some point.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What?
I think anyone
used
did
to use
Amex.
Amex. Does anybody use
Visa.
Amex?
Yeah, I mean, actually, Sam's Club,
a lot of big businesses
similar for a while.
I mean, I guess it's like more supported now, but I remember a funny joke about Futurama, like Fry listing off all these credit card companies. Oh, they went bankrupt in the 2400s. Yeah, they disappeared in like 2650. Like, do you take American Express? No.
Well, so no, I mean, actually, just from experience, when I worked at the Popeyes back as my high school job, we had customers who would get really angry at us in drive-through because our little cheap credit card reader could not understand the 5-digit last portion of the credit card. Yeah, because every credit card company in the US and most likely everywhere else uses a 16-digit key broken up into 4 quartets of digits. And Amex has that 5-digit number at the end that nothing was compatible with.
Yep.
Oh, is that why nobody took it? Just a technical issue?
No. Well, on some cards,
there were different fees too.
Yeah. On some card readers, it was a technical issue, and on other card readers, it was just, oh, nope, we don't take Amex. Sorry.
That happened here when they started allowing debit and credit cards to have longer than 4-digit pins.
Yep.
Because you could have up to a 12-digit pin now on most Canadian bank credit card or debit and credit cards.
Nice. Mine would just be 69.
Over and over and over? Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you ever do 69?
What?
I've done it.
Yeah, same.
Great. Anyway, we were talking about this earlier, but the electric F-150.
Yeah, that's a weird. I mean, it makes sense from Ford's point of view, but yeah, basically the Ford F-150 electric is supposed to come out with a all-electric powertrain, but limited range. I don't remember exactly how much range it was, if they actually ever announced a proper number, not just some press number. But because Americans are Americans and they can't understand that they might not need all the actual range, what Ford decided to do is shrink the battery a little bit, but then invest in a basically a toolbox that goes in the back size generator that basically just charges the truck as you drive.
Yeah. I feel like this truck is going to sell better than the Cybertruck.
I agree.
The Cybertruck
probably will depend on the price. If Ford's doing this for the price, which I can see them doing, I can see that working out in their favor for the American market.
So the big thing that I'm seeing about this is, well, first of all, the biggest issue with the Cybertruck is how different the layout is, and just how different the truck is in general. It does not look like a working the classical redneck workers truck.
Yeah,
so
and here's the deal. If you're buying a truck, you either need it for work or you need it because you are doing working class cosplay. Like,
correct.
You're not buying a Cybertruck for either of those. If you're actually working, you will buy a more practical vehicle than a damn Tesla that's going to fall apart. Mm-hmm. And if you're doing working class cosplay, you're going to buy an angry American truck.
Yep. So yeah, I had this conversation with my brother at one point when he was getting really invested into his or our great uncle's Chevy S10 and doing all the work to repair that thing because it never had an oil change in all of the 20 years he had it.
That's bad.
Oh yeah. Well, no, the truck runs fine now, but he had to replace like the leaf springs. He had to replace all of the suspension. He had to replace a lot of the electrical. And it was a lot of work. And he likes the truck, but regardless, I can't stand the thing. There's three people who are going to buy a truck, like an American style pickup truck. You have, like Chris said, people who are actually going to use it for work. They're going to be towing. They're going to be using it on a farm or a work environment, XYZ, actually utilizing the truck for what it's designed for. Then you have your pickup truck dude bros, which are going to lift the thing about 24 inches off the ground, higher than what it already was. They're going to give it shiny chrome rims. They're going to never drive it when it rains. And they're probably going to put a supercharger in it because it sounds funny.
I'm going to do that to my Corolla.
Yeah, that'll be funny. And then you have that middle class who they occasionally need to haul something, and they also have a family. And most F-150s are just so large these days that they actually double as like what the SUV used to do.
I'm going to get the F-150 with the crew cab, so that way I can look like I'm working class, but also I have a 5.5-foot bed, and I carry my kids in the back seat.
Yep.
It's just cosplay.
So yeah, and that's what it comes down to, right? Is like when my I have a close family friend from back in West Virginia who he is a contractor, but his truck looks like a dude bro truck. However, he does take the thing off-roading when he goes hunting. He does take the thing to the work site. His rims are completely destroyed at this point because of how much he takes it off-road. I don't even understand why he did what he did.
Hey, Simmons, if you go to a mechanic and you need to get your rims fixed, what do you ask for?
No.
A rim job.
I hate you so much. No, but one of the things
of your jokes.
No, you're not.
I was going to say, but one of the things that Chris said when we initially brought up this article was this thing is basically the pickup truck equivalent of the Chevy Volt.
It's either the Volt or the Bolt, but basically, long story short, Chevy made a hybrid vehicle that instead of being like a traditional plug-in hybrid where it has a hybrid powertrain and you can recharge the battery by plugging it into the wall, what you actually had was an electric vehicle that had an onboard generator. You were not using the petrol engine as like a prime mover in the vehicle. Like all of the power that got to the wheels was coming from the motor, like the electric motors. The engine was there solely to charge the batteries. Yep. It's not like, a Prius where you have some mechanical adder that is combining the power of electric motors and a gasoline engine. It's not like that.
So, and I do remember my dad was genuinely interested in the Volt for a while because, the petrol engine that was in the thing was not a very big engine. It didn't have to be. It was only charging a generator that was sufficient enough to keep the thing going for an extended period of time. And I think the big selling point, it was like a 65 to 75 mile per gallon equivalent vehicle because, the load on the gas engine is significantly lighter and it just doesn't need that much power. So they can make it as efficient as possible. The only reason why we ended up going against it because when we were looking at getting this thing, that was when Chevy announced that they were killing the car because you can't buy this thing anymore.
Yeah, and it's a really cool concept. Also, the fact that because you don't have an engine, that's like the rate at which your engine spins is going to determine one how efficient it is, but it's also going to be determined by how fast you're going. And if you have, let's say, a CVT, you can get some gear ratios that'll put you in peak efficiency band, whatever, sure, okay. But if you're charging like a battery, if you're using this as a generator, then you can be running at that peak efficiency at all times. You don't need to worry about going from 600 RPM to redline. You just need to worry about going a speed that is most efficient.
Yeah, and I was going to say not even at all times, because the way that they set the thing up was that it would only turn on when the battery got to a certain threshold where it needed to be recharged. So they were actually able to optimize the generator running for lengthening the battery's lifespan just with charging efficiencies at various load levels. It was a really cool concept.
Yeah, what they were kind of working on.
It is
originally with
the
that
Bolt with a B. Or wait, no, I just read it.
Yeah,
and I don't remember.
It's the Bolt with a B. It has a 53-mile electric range.
So here's the thing:
420
I can't
with
keep
the
it
gas.
straight because not only do their brands differ by one letter, it's two letters that are adjacent to each other on a damn keyboard. Like, why did they brand it this way?
Clearly, you're not using the superior layout, which is Dvorak.
Simmons, I'm gonna beat you over the head with a Model F.
Chris, you might find this interesting, but the whole Volt concept of the generator.
No, it is the Volt concept. It is the Volt concept with a V. Technology Connections has done a bunch of videos on it.
Yeah, what did I just link?
One, and he called it the Volt with a V. It's the V. It's the Chevy V card. Okay, but yeah.
Did you not look at the one that I posted as well?
Yeah, and it's a comparison of two of them, and I'm sad and I'm scared, but Technology Connections is specifically talking about the car that we're also trying to talk about if we knew the name of it. It is the Chevrolet Victor Oscar Lima Tango. It's that one with the V, the Victor, just so we're absolutely
it was
clear.
the Volt, as in Victor.
Right. So the original concept for that, though, was not to have a petrol gas engine, but the option to have multiple generator types in there, whether it's a natural gas engine, a propane gas engine, a hydrogen cell, or anything else, or just literally pop a giant battery pack in that spot connected to those charging points and here. So it was supposed to be adaptable for many different markets and many different types, but no one trusts Chevy outside of North America, so they settled on just a gas engine.
Yeah.
Yeah, the natural gas actually does make a lot of sense. I think there are a number of production cars that do use that, but they're intended to be fleet vehicles rather than mass market.
Propane too, propane forklifts. A lot of industrial sites use propane powered vehicles as alternatives.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're using that as a company car, then sure, why not? You've already got the infrastructure to support it.
And I just love the idea of this, basically just this module that you could just swap out, where you just keep all of the other modules in the back seat and you just swap it whenever.
What? No, don't do that.
It'd be funny.
That's what flex fuel is for.
Well, yeah, but what if you want to burn on propane?
Just make one of those Soviet era engines that will just run on something that's vaguely combustible.
Yeah. Actually, that concept would have been great for a biodiesel kind of situation where you just run it on used and filtered cooking oil.
Vegetable oil. Yeah. Cooking oil.
Yeah.
I really love the biodiesel concept.
It's a neat use of recycling, I guess, and it makes your car smell like French fries. I remember, I think Discovery Channel did a documentary following some guys who were doing a cross-country road trip. And the way they refueled was they just went to a fast food place and said hey, we're doing this documentary. We'd like to do this. It seems like fun. Can we have some oil, please? And they were okay.
Yeah, I mean, hell, when going back to the Popeyes thing, all of our used vegetable oil, we had to have we had to have a specialty company take it to a specialized disposal plant, and that was expensive for the restaurant. So
why does cooking oil need to have specialty disposal?
Because it's not good to dump that in a landfill. Funny enough.
Why? Doesn't it just grow things?
Yeah, and it gets really rancid after a while. And
Oh yeah, that's a problem, isn't it?
yeah,
Wait,
that's what
are you joking? How do you not know this?
I don't pay attention to.
he doesn't cook food. He just
What do you do when you
consumes,
make bacon? What do you do with the grease?
I save it.
Microwave it,
Yeah, you do that.
and then you soak up the grease with toast.
I wasn't
Yeah.
asking you guys. You guys just gave him answers.
Yeah.
I was quizzing
Yeah,
him on
I-
life. knowledge.
Well, first of all, I don't get the grease with toast. I get the grease with microwaved bread.
We
it's
got to do
microwave.
stuff about you.
It's microwaved, so it's.
I was gonna
warm.
say, Chris. You know
And,
what?
and it melts the grease better.
You know what? I feel like I did some good when Chris came down here and got completely trashed because I exposed Chris to some of my cooking and he liked it.
Good.
Yeah, that was unrelated to getting trashed, to be clear, I think.
Also, it was unrelated to the sweetened condensed milk, so that was also fun.
Oh, don't get me started on that, Simmons.
You know, I intentionally ate that on purpose when you were here because I knew you were going to get pissed off.
I like how you got pissed off when I started filming you.
Oh yeah, no, it was funny because I knew you were just going to post it on Twitter and make cum jokes.
Damn, I am that predictable, huh?
Yeah, yeah, your sense of humor is exactly what mine is.
Look, it's not my fault that I'm eating the sweetened condensed cum. I'm not the one eating the sweetened condensed cum. I don't know.
No, you wouldn't trust me on it and try it.
Yeah, you're right. I'm normal. I'm
you're not.
allegedly normal.
Chris-
I claim to be normal.
Chris, we have to have an intervention about this thought process you got going.
Yeah, I'll hate you. Jack, how are you doing tonight?
Doing great. Yeah.
That's
Hey,
nice.
Jack, I just posted a picture. I got that. Do you want it?
What is it?
BBC sounds archive.zip.
Okay,
Yeah, so
what
BBC
kind of BBC?
Released their 16,000 sound
that BBC.
bytes that they
Oh.
use. It's 283 gigabytes of WAV files unzipped.
I don't have anything to put that on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I need to send you that hard drive that contains totally legally ripped Linux ISOs. I need to get on mailing you that. I guess it's actually going to be cool enough that I can send you cookies and they won't melt.
I was going to say, speaking of large file repositories, so I was exposed to an acquaintance last night who he apparently has sunk thousands of dollars into OnlyFans just so he can just build this giant repository of OnlyFans content.
Oh,
Simmons, is
God.
this a guy from the server I think it's from?
Yes, it is.
Of course it is.
I was gonna, because originally I thought that he got this through some through that big data leak that occurred.
No, he's just been buying porn. Like, you know what? Good on him. Support your local sex workers.
And he has it distributed across that that network that they have.
Oh, that's less nice, but whatever.
Oh, I mean, it's a private network at this point, so who cares?
Yeah.
The Usenet.
I mean, no. Basically, this group, they have their own enterprise distributed network that they've set up as a.
Oh yeah, it's a time.
Oh yeah, no. I spent a good hour one night explaining the OSPF routing protocol to him because he was really confused as to why he was breaking stuff with his MikroTik router.
Yeah, it happens.
Fun fact: MikroTik does not support most industry-grade routing protocols. Go figure.
Yeah. I have a funny story about MikroTik, but
That's why they're cheap.
Yeah. Well, I
But
mean,
they work.
Yeah, that's the thing is like this group ended up buying into a lot of MikroTik hardware because it is cheap and it supports GRE tunnel protocol, which is like the most simple way to do multicast over a tunnel. But man, the implementation of MikroTik is so awesome.
Surf the Home has recommended a bunch of their hardware, although it is definitely sus, but I do appreciate the price.
So that's the thing is like with the audience that Serve the Home has, I can understand why they can get away with it because they know that most of their audience is actually going to look into how to properly set this up and what the limitations are. People who buy Serve the Home recommendations without doing the research are complete morons.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
Yeah, it's Serve the Home as in Serve the Home Lab, not Serve the nursing home in which your parents live.
No, because there was a big trend going on for a while, and it was around the time when Tech Syndicate exploded.
Wait, exploded as in became popular, or exploded as in
no, that was when Wendell broke off, and he ended up acquiring all of like the Linux and the server Tech Syndicate channels to form Level 1 Techs due to the
that was a time. I was talking with Frick while that was happening. That was a time.
That was
I don't remember any of the details. All I know is that, hey, Wendell's doing all right, and he's cool.
Yeah. And Wendell's actually doing really well for himself now, which is awesome. But no. So around that era, right before it exploded, Tech Syndicate was really popularizing a lot of server the home content. So a lot of just general what I would classify as HTPC users or HTTP users, or that high-end
media pirates.
No, basically people who identify as computer extra enthusiasts were starting to get into a lot of Server the Home articles, and Server the Home was receiving a lot of flack because a lot of these people were buying this hardware based on just blind recommendations without reading into stuff.
Linus and Tech Syndicate guy. Can I put that in the thumbnail?
No.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, no, I distinctly remember, like, even r/home labs on Reddit was just like, you all are a bunch of freaking idiots because you aren't reading the articles. You're just seeing the headline and purchasing the product.
Wow.
Nice. When Reddit's calling you idiots. That's not fair. r/home lab. A lot of the subreddits for people who are doing things with computers that they would reasonably be doing as like a job as well, like people who are definitely in the IT field, those ones tend to be good. Like Home Lab is good. What's another one? Data Hoarder tends to be pretty good, although they can get kind of out there sometimes. But like once you get away from the gamers, there's actually smart people.
Oh yeah. The r/home lab was actually one of my go-to when I was working on my Rad Run a Stick to Windows Server 2016 desktop edition project, because when I was dealing with that shenanigans, people were just like, "Yeah, this is how you can do it," and now you're learning why people don't do this in the industry. So I really like that subreddit a lot.
Yeah, but like the rest of them are. Yeah, they could be better. It's just gamers. Gamers just poison things. That's all it is.
Yeah,
I don't like them. I don't trust them. And you know what? That's probably why. That's probably why Wendell is still as neat as he is, even though he's been in the game as long as he has, because he's doing workstation-y, Linux-y stuff. That's interesting and requires a brain.
Oh yeah.
Gosh, when was this? This is like 4 years ago. I just found the original Tech Syndicate channel.
I was going to say, it's like
Wendell's face. That's not Wendell's face. Is Wendell's face in here?
And that was my thing. Is like I really liked Tech Syndicate back before it imploded, because they were reviewing a lot of the small form factor cases back in that time, and actually the tiny computer that I have.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, they did a lot of pretty decent case reviews.
Yep. The tiny computer I had was actually Tech Syndicate Man's go-to mobile editing rig for a long time.
I don't even know what his name is. He's just the Tech Syndicate.
I forgot his name, honestly, but that's what I'm saying.
Probably something like Kyle, and he just drywall as a hobby.
He did a really good review of the PCT 100 from Lian Li, and that review is what sold me on that case. And then I eventually bought it like 2 or 3 years later. So,
Chris, let's take a deep dive. Oh, don't get me started. It's not a deep dive. It's a 10-minute. It's at most a 10-minute read about the specs that they already revealed. Go away.
Yep. Deep dive is a marketing term. Yay!
Deep dive is marketing now. Like I hate it. Send me a link to the tweet. I want to complain.
Go for it.
Yeah. Here.
Thank you. All right. Let's see.
A deep dive into Ryzen 5000.
All right. What is this? This is from tomshardware.com. More 7-nanometer nails in Intel's 14-nanometer coffin. Shoot me in the face with a gun.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5.5, 6.5, 7.5, 8.5. Not, or actually 7.5, 8. Well, we'll call that another half. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 18, 19, 20, 21. This is like fewer than 100 paragraphs. Actually, you know what we're going to do?
Marketing.
To copy all of this text, we're going to scroll up. Give me a moment, because there actually is a decent amount of text. This is a longer than normal article. It is not just it's not just a quick news blurb. However, it is a non-AMD entity telling us about the yet to be released AMD processors, which means they are relying on pre-release information provided by AMD. So we are going to delete all of that, because that's a table. We're not counting the table. We're not counting any of these tables. We'll count the bullet points. 4,700 words. That's not really a deep dive. Like, not only is this not really, it's not super long. It's not as long as it could be, but because it's about pre-release Ryzen 5000, we're just talking about things that AMD told us.
Yes.
Like, second paragraph. AMD touts its Zen 3 chips as having market-leading single-threaded performance, which comes courtesy of an overall 19% uplift to IPC, instruction per cycle, throughput, combined with the optimized 7-nanometer process that rings out a 4.9 gigahertz boost from the flagship, whatever. What does this mean?
This is just
they are repeating marketing things that AMD has put out.
Yeah.
AMD says it took a ground-up redesign of the Zen microarchitecture. We'll cover the details below. What details? AMD didn't provide details. Like, well, let's scroll down. Let's see what the details are. We've got
I've hated Tom's for the last while.
Yeah, they're not good. They also don't even render on my phone when I have my ad blocker turned on. Also, they've got autoplay video now, too, which you can't block. It's like, thanks. Thanks for just wasting an excessive amount of bandwidth for something I'm not interested in.
Well, that's actually I used to block that with uBlock.
Yeah.
A while back. I forget what I used for that, though, but I'm actually no autoplay video right now. My Pi-hole must be actually stopping that.
Yeah. Same.
Oh, okay. I mean, like, look at this paragraph. Look at this section. Ryzen 9 5900X specifications. This is 2 paragraphs about chip specifications. And, okay, sure, you can, like, do that, but the information here isn't really dense enough to justify it.
It could easily be accomplished in a chart or a table.
Well, they do have a table, but you do need to elaborate on your tables when you present them. It's just, you shouldn't be restating this much information, like saying, this is $50 more and 100 megahertz faster for each and every chip. You should just say, Ryzen 5000 is $50 more expensive than their respective 3000 series SKUs. And they're generally, I don't know, there's ways to do it. It's just, it's not very good. What else do we got? No new chipsets. Dude, I'm going to be livid if there's not at least an X670. X570 is just such a rushed hack job. Okay, here we go. Now that you've seen the benchmarks, here's how AMD delivers its improved performance. AMD shared many new details about the Zen 3 microarchitecture, but the company says it will share even more information in a future briefing. Why are you writing your deep dive now, then? AMD embarked on what it describes as a ground-up redesign of the Zen 2 architecture to deliver the types of gains we would normally expect from an entirely new microarchitecture. Full sentence. In fact, the company's 19% increase in IPC represents its largest single-generation IPC increase in the post-Zen era, Zen Plus, Zen 2. Cool, so we've got 2 data points to compare so far. Thanks, guys. We certainly haven't seen an increase of this magnitude for desktop chips from Intel in the recent past either. The Intel Skylake architecture achieved a similar boost, but everything since has been nearly static. No, Sunny Cove was quite a bit faster, I recall. just Sunny Cove, or it's just Ice Lake, so it's slow. It's just like, okay, here we go. Here's where our deep dive comes in. Accomplishing the impressive IPC gains required a front-to-back series of modifications to the design, including, but not limited to, the cache subsystem, front end, branch predictor, execution engine, and load store elements, all with a focus on boosting single-threaded performance while bringing out better instruction-level parallelism. The result is improved performance across the board in both single and multi-threaded integer and floating point workloads. What does that mean? This is just marketing. AMD said this in a slide. I don't know what
it's
they
that
did
high school
to make
student who takes one Wikipedia article and turns it into a N-page essay by using a bunch of synonyms and a thesaurus and repeating the same sentence 5 times with different words.
Not only is this not long enough to be an architectural deep dive at only 5,000 words, like you need to hit 10K before it's a deep dive. Yeah. There's nothing here. Like, this is the kind of thing that you're going to read and feel smart because it's like there's numbers, there's units, there's technical terms.
Mm-hmm. But this is just what happens when
AMD's slide deck.
This is what happens when big corporations end up buying up all the, normal hardware computer websites, and they have a bottom line and they have things that they have to put out.
You are being way too conspiratorial here. Nobody bought up anybody.
No, I'm not saying people. No, a corporation owns Tom's Hardware.
You mean Perch? Okay, I thought you meant like AMD bought them out, and that's what. Yeah. Okay, I see what
Future US. Yeah, Future US Incorporated.
Yeah, they're forced to put out articles like this to get eyes on their website.
Right, but
yes,
but
it's like overclock.
The thing is, it is not just that they have to put out articles. It is the kinds of articles that they are able to put out, because they need information from AMD, and they also need writers who are versed in microarchitectures for microprocessors. And they don't really have either of these. AMD is giving us these details because AMD thinks that this is good marketing information. Because this is not a white paper for engineers. This is a slide deck that's being shown to gamers. And it's like, I swear I touched on this a couple weeks ago on the podcast, but like, I know I've said it on Twitter a couple of times. First time I came to the realization was during the Tiger Lake leak. I was like super depressed around that time. Like, I was thinking about shooting myself. But like, just realizing that all of this information is ultimately just marketing. There is some good stuff for engineers, yes, but this isn't what they're talking about during the announcements. Like, I don't know what the load store elements and the execution engines do. Why should I know what they do? I mean, I kind of know what they do, but like, if I'm just a regular old gamer, this article isn't going to tell me anything about microprocessor design. This isn't going to tell me anything about why this is meaningful. Like, I don't know. I could write a better version of this article, if only because the analysis would be more precise and shorter, and because there would just be a lot fewer words.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. I don't know, dude. It's like I'm getting burned out on the whole like computer thing in a lot of ways.
This is a deep dive, what I just posted.
Yes.
Oh, that's a lot of words.
Yeah, there you go.
For our listener, that's 99,200 words for Agner Fogg's MicroArch Programming Guide.
Yeah, that is 21 times as long as this Tom's Hardware thing. Who is this guy? I'm trying to think. University of Denmark. No, he's not who I'm thinking of, is it? I swear I've heard that name before.
Yeah, I mean, you probably have.
He's an evolutionary anthropologist and computer scientist.
Yeah, he's cool. He's smart.
Let's see. Zen 3 lives up. Production capacity, even if...
Oh my god, just agner.org.
Yeah, that's a great website.
The best website ever. Just the homepage.
All right, let's take a look.
Oh, this is amazing!
Oh, yes.
I hate animations.
Now, this is a nerd, and he's never been stuffed in a locker. In fact, his hand was shaken. People hugged him. He's great.
He's one of the good nerds.
I was going to say the only thing I want to say, because we should probably wrap up.
No, hang on. There's one last thing, because Jack, the Hardware Canucks thing on Twitter earlier today.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Hardware Canucks is, I guess, getting upset because their audience is reacting really negatively to like talking about Intel hardware and devices, like some new laptop they reviewed. And they're like, what the heck? Why is this happening? And it's like, mate, you keep talking about the AMD apocalypse as Intel is being murdered or whatever. This is just like a tech YouTube thing. It's like, you have cultivated this audience. You have built a narrative. You have created a story with characters and conflicts, because tech news is actually really boring when you only have surface level details.
But the thing is, they're denying that. I don't even think that they're aware, though. I actually think they're that dumb.
Yeah, they're Canadian. You wouldn't expect them to be smart.
Wow.
Right, Axie?
If Axie were smart, he would send me more whiskey pictures.
I was going to say, if anything, Axie is East Canadian.
Oh, yeah. He's one of the good Canadians. It's just...
He's not one of those Linus Tech Tips fans.
Yeah.
No, but I'm not far enough east that I'm French either.
That's true.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah, being French is even worse than being Canadian.
No,
honestly.
No, you're Detroit Canadian.
Yeah. It's just... I don't know, dude. I'm just... If you're calling it like, well, what is this? Steak is good. Steak at steak and chicken, except chicken doesn't have an E in it. All one word.
Yeah.
And AMD Apocalypse for Intel. AMD Zen 3 and Ryzen 5000. A 9-minute video with 15,000 views. Zen 3, the final nail in Intel's coffin. AMD Zen 3 details. Intel should be very something. It cuts off. Intel lost the game. It's like, we're building this story when ultimately it's just two corporations who would kill you for $20. And I'm like, that's not even a joke at this point, because both Intel and Nvidia were selling gear to China, much like IBM in the 30s to Germany, to help facilitate an ethnic cleansing, because that's just the thing that's occurring. Like, companies are supporting it.
That's getting too far off into the weeds.
They're fighting. AMD and Intel are fighting. They're my friends, and they're in the fight. And it's
a lot of these tech tubers, a lot of these people that write all these things, that they need to be educated on psychology and a whole bunch of other things, so they know what they're doing, because they don't know what they're doing. They don't know human behavior. Yeah,
who even does? Are humans real? I don't know. But yeah, it's just, I don't care about Ryzen 5000 in any capacity other than this is a faster computer component that I can purchase, because I'm never going to be doing any of this low level stuff. It's like, it really, can I have an existential crisis on the extras?
Yeah, go for it.
Hell yeah. Okay, so I've spent like, I got into this dumb hobby in summer of 2013 as a direct result of Microsoft just dropping the ball on the Xbox One reveal. They just... Because I was kind of set on getting the next Xbox, because I had a 360. It's like, yeah, well, let's get the Xbox One. And they just completely dropped the ball, and it's like, I think I'll build a computer. I've heard about these newfangled Steam sales going on. So I did that. I went down a rabbit hole, and it's like, just all of this information that I know about these components doesn't really mean anything. It's like, wow, this CPU has some amount of L3 cache. Okay, what does that mean? It means that it can store some amount of states in some like transistor structures in a silicon die. I mean, that's what it physically means, but what does it practically mean? Oh, I'm not doing low-level enough programming to actually benefit from knowing that. And it's just, I don't know. It just feels like I've wasted quite a bit of like time, effort, and energy during some time when I could have been learning much more interesting and practical things. Like, for instance, I don't know. What if I had actually gotten a Craigslist Corolla when I was a teenager and I did cool things to it? I'm going to learn how to dick around with cars. I'm going to turn my Craigslist Corolla into a supercharged Craigslist Corolla that can also drive on train tracks, right? Like just doing that kind of thing. Like that's a practical life skill. You can make money doing that. The YouTube tech reviewer game is rather saturated. So I don't know. I don't know.
Hey, why don't you riff off of this?
Oh, okay. You're giving me more things to get mad at? Oh, yeah, that's another thing. Yeah. From Dr. Ian Cuttress. You'd be surprised how many times the press will be at events or tours, and executives will say when asked difficult questions, our customers don't care about the details, why should you? I swear the next time it happens, I'll blow my top. And yeah, it's like, I don't know, I'm mixed, because on one hand, yeah, I fully get where the good doctor's coming from there. But like, I don't know how to put it, because I'm kind of mixed, because I do want that information to be out there. It's just I don't need to know it. Knowing it does not impact me.
Yeah.
I
mean, that's why
I fully get what Jack means when he's like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just looking at benchmarks. I don't care about the architecture.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's why I was riffing on that whole thing that day where, because how that thing that Ian posted started was Ian had a poll where he said, which matters more for Zen 3? 8-core CCX with 32 megabytes of L3 or plus 19% IPC? And pretty much all the comments are being like, aren't they the same? And I retweeted it and I said, I'm not voting for this because the technology that makes AMD be the top FPS in gaming isn't interesting. Whatever they do is fixing a problem that existed since Zen first came to be.
Well, not really a problem per se.
Oh yeah, yeah, but you know, I'm the embodiment of hyperbole. Okay.
Yeah,
this is understood.
Like, yeah, it's like it's not even like other electronics. Like if you hand me an Arduino or something, it actually benefits me to know how it works because it's a microcontroller. You can do like low-level C programming in this, and it's relatively easy because it's simple. I need to know the circuit board layout. I need to know all of these specifications because these directly influence what I can do with this board because it's more tactile, I guess. I can actually use it, but like, what's happening in Ryzen? I don't know what's happening in Ryzen. It's a piece of glass. It's glass that can think.
Yeah.
What's going on in there? I don't know. It's some witchcraft.
Yeah. I mean, unless you...
It puts colors on my screen.
Yeah, and unless you're doing completely x86 64 assembly, you're not touching any of those details at all. You leave that up to the compiler. The compiler figures it out. I mean, that's why I did that whole video. And
sure, you need to know about that if you're writing the compiler, but it's like...
But you're not writing the compiler.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's why I did the whole video talking about compilers and stuff with Intel. It's like, yeah, if I use the Intel compiler on this program that I didn't write, I could just change a couple settings in the way Visual Studio compiles it, and now it's like percentages faster. I didn't calculate it, but it's faster. I don't know how to program, but I made it faster. And this is something I could get by sticking on the Intel platform.
Yeah,
maybe I could get that on AMD. But, you know, I mean, knowing all of that low-level detail didn't help me at all. I just changed a couple combo boxes and pressed build. So I'm not sure where all of this information actually becomes helpful. And to bring it all back, this is why big tech websites put out basically marketing pieces.
Oh my God, Hardware Canucks guy is being so smug about all of this, dude. Oh, oops, that is
He
a
is.
PHP. That's going to be, there you go. That's going to work.
You know, I still think back to the time where I made the call out tweet with actually, I think Jack and Chris were involved with this, but I was watching one of their reviews on something, and they had a bunch of charts in the video where the numbers were the same, but the graphs were slightly different, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, that's because we used a decimal place for the values in the chart, and not." And we didn't think it was necessary to put it in the graphs. Our apologies.
Oh, hang on. I think I know what you're talking about. What's your handle from Simmons Hardware Canucks? Here we go. October 12th, 2018. I found your tweet.
Hey, there it is.
Link
in
it.
voice lobby. There you go.
Nice. Oh yeah, I remember this.
Oh, yeah. They didn't include the decimal point in the number written on. Oh my God. They truncated the number that they wrote, but the data there was still like the raw data. It's like,
Yeah, the graphs were still correct. Just
this tweet was deleted by the tweet author. Me too, thanks. And it's adding me. That was a tweet by me. I nuked it because I nuke all my tweets. I don't know what it said. I could dig it up. I don't want to.
Yeah, no, it was fun.
Need to have 2 decimal places with the. Oh my God. It's just. Also, people don't know how to do data presentation either, and that just irritates me. Jack, you're guilty of this too. Like,
it's fucking hard for a website. I've gone through so many different ways to try to display a chart on a website.
Oh, no.
It's literal hell.
I don't just mean showing the chart. I mean, I don't mean like how the chart's even designed. I mean like how you are analyzing this data, what you are like putting as your axes, if you're including error bars, etc.
Oh, yeah.
Jack, do you even know how error bars work?
No.
Okay, yeah, that's a minor issue. Okay, we're gonna have to teach you that at some point. But
the furthest math I've ever gone in school was kind of algebra, kind of geometry.
Yeah.
Anything past that, I mean, I don't even know algebra, so fuck it.
Jack, you're autistic. You're supposed to be a savant here.
Yeah, I'm a different kind of savant. I just kind of I have feelings for computer stuff.
I feel the numbers, feel the graphs.
The silicon just rubs me the right way in the right places.
It really does. The frenulum is where it rubs me.
All right, before this devolves anymore, we should probably.
Oh yeah, I should. I need to bring something up about that while I'm thinking about it. So
the frenulum?
We definitely need to cut.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, this was a fun extras.
Yeah, this was a really good extras. I don't think we've had this in over like 6 months. So.
Yeah, we had fun. It's because Andrew is not here.
Jack doesn't have a lot to edit now. It's fine.
No, this was a genuinely good extras. So yeah.
I had fun. I didn't want to die.
Wow, you know what? I think what you know what it was?
That's a plus.
Extras that we actually had articles to talk about.
Oh yeah, that's right. We were supposed to prepare.
Wait, and nobody drunk or was drinking?
I have been.
I mean, I had 3 beers, but that's not anywhere near as bad.
Simmons, you're an alcoholic. 3 beers is basically sober for you.
Yeah, basically. So.
Yeah. So we'll see you guys in the next extras, I guess.
The extras.
Yeah.
Extras.
Yeah. Stay tuned for our next recording. I think this extras will be up for next week's actual release because I really like this recording. So yeah,
I'll try to work on it.
Okay.
Oh, okay. We're doing this one first and then the next one. Ooh,
no.
Get ready for episode 40 fun.